Imagine a day filled with joy, laughter, and family bonding that suddenly turns into a heart-wrenching nightmare. Sarah and Michael, a loving couple, set out for a blissful afternoon with their baby Ethan at the mall. What starts as a delightful outing takes a devastating turn when Ethan disappears from his stroller. The frantic search, the sleepless nights, and the endless hope for their son's safe return become their new reality. Months pass, and Sarah and Michael's anguish seems insurmountable until a chance encounter with Jason, a young boy selling roses on a street corner, changes everything. The scar on Jason's arm, identical to Ethan's, leads to a profound discovery that reopens old wounds, but also offers a glimmer of hope. Through a journey of emotion and revelation, Sarah and Michael face a whirlwind of feelings as they learn the truth about Jason's origins and their long-lost son, Ethan. This incredible story of loss, love, and miraculous reunion is a testament to the power of hope and the unbreakable bonds of family. Dive into this emotional roller coaster and witness how a family's love can triumph over the darkest of times. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. On a fateful afternoon marked by an unusual blend of excitement and apprehension, a millionaire woman, who had long resigned herself to the pain of losing her son, made an extraordinary and heart-wrenching discovery. She stumbled upon the striking reality that her long-lost child was selling roses at a traffic light in the very city she called home. The emotional gravity of this revelation was almost too much to bear, a piercing reminder of a heartache that had shadowed her life. This momentous event occurred on a day initially filled with simple joy and family togetherness, as Sarah and Michael embarked on a long-awaited family outing with their beloved infant, Ethan, who was just a few precious months old. The day was supposed to be an idyllic celebration of family life, a rare opportunity to bond and create new memories. As they entered the bustling, vibrant mall, Sarah was abruptly reminded of a pressing need. She had to buy some new clothes for their growing baby. Her heart, full of love and concern for Ethan's well-being, urged her to make this quick errand a priority. With a sense of purpose and a flurry of activity, she suggested to Michael that he stay with the stroller while she dashed off to the store. Michael, ever the devoted husband and father, agreed immediately, his heart swelling with pride at the thought of supporting his wife and ensuring their baby's safety. He settled into a tranquil spot near the mall's picturesque central fountain, a serene oasis amidst the surrounding chaos. Michael took a seat on a nearby bench, positioning himself strategically to keep Ethan's stroller within his constant line of sight. The mall, with its colorful displays and lively atmosphere, seemed to fade into the background as Michael poured all his attention into keeping Ethan entertained. He played with Ethan, his face contorting into a myriad of silly expressions and exaggerated movements, all designed to elicit giggles and smiles from his tiny son. For those moments, the world felt right, a bubble of pure joy encasing them. Time seemed to drift by effortlessly until, much to Michael's delight, he spotted a familiar face across the fountain. A surge of elation coursed through him at the sight of his old friend, and he waved enthusiastically, inviting him to join him at their little haven. The reunion was a jubilant affair, filled with animated conversation and heartfelt laughter, as Michael and his friend caught up on years of shared memories and recent life changes. Lost in the warmth of their exchange, Michael's awareness of his surroundings began to wane. In his exuberance, he inadvertently moved a few feet away from Ethan's stroller, his gestures becoming more animated, his laughter louder, and his focus solely on the cherished friend before him. The joyous chatter and shared laughter came to a jarring halt when Michael, suddenly aware of an unsettling silence, turned to check on Ethan. His heart seemed to stop as his eyes fell upon the space where the stroller had been. The world seemed to tilt and shatter around him, his mind instantly consumed by a wave of sheer panic. The stroller, along with his precious son, had disappeared without a trace. Adrenaline surged through Michael's veins as he bolted back to the spot where he had left the stroller, his mind racing through a maelstrom of fear and desperation. He called out for Ethan with a voice that trembled and cracked, the sound echoing with his deep, gut-wrenching terror, knowing full well that his baby could not respond. Michael's friend, now fully grasping the magnitude of the crisis, joined the frantic search with a heightened sense of urgency. They combed every inch of the area, their eyes scanning frantically for any sign of the missing stroller or the baby. Just as despair began to gnaw at the edges of their hope, Sarah emerged from the store, her arms laden with shopping bags. The sight of Michael and his friend darting around the fountain in a state of utter chaos struck her with a visceral jolt. Her chest tightened with a suffocating sense of dread, her heart racing with an ominous premonition. She sprinted toward Michael, her mind racing through a labyrinth of fear and confusion, demanding to know what had happened. When Michael's anguished explanation revealed that Ethan had vanished, the crushing weight of grief and horror descended upon Sarah. At that moment, the world seemed to crumble into an abyss of terror, leaving her engulfed in a suffocating haze of despair and helplessness. In the throes of sheer panic and overwhelming fear, Sarah and Michael plunged into a frantic and desperate search for their beloved baby Ethan. Their minds raced with anguish as they reached out to the mall security team, desperately relaying a detailed description of their precious son and his stroller. Every minute felt like an eternity as they scoured every inch of the sprawling mall, their hearts pounding with dread. They checked every store, every restroom, and every shadowy corner where Ethan might be hiding, their eyes darting around in a frantic quest for any sign of their missing child. As the minutes stretched into agonizing hours, the couple's torment deepened with each passing moment. The once hopeful outing had spiraled into an unspeakable nightmare, a harrowing ordeal that seemed to tear apart their very souls. They were consumed by a crushing wave of self-blame, their minds haunted by the unrelenting thought that they had failed to keep their eyes on Ethan. The guilt gnawed at them, a relentless and unforgiving force that magnified their despair. Desperation gave way to action as the police were summoned, and specialized search teams were deployed to comb the mall and its surrounding areas. The mall, once a place of light-hearted shopping and family fun, had now become a vast, foreboding landscape of fear and uncertainty. Sarah and Michael's anguish was palpable, their every breath heavy with the weight of their grief and worry. The absence of their tiny, defenseless baby felt like a gaping wound in their hearts, a constant, throbbing reminder of their worst fears come to life. Time seemed to stretch indefinitely as Sarah and Michael continued their relentless search. They pleaded with everyone they encountered, their voices hoarse with desperation as they begged for any information that could lead them to their missing son. The security team, now fully mobilized, orchestrated a large-scale search effort, their every action infused with a sense of urgency and determination. Sarah, driven by a fierce resolve and her considerable influence, spared no effort in her quest to find Ethan. She leveraged her financial resources to their fullest extent, hiring private investigators and offering substantial rewards for any information that might lead to her son's safe return. Her network of contacts was mobilized, and the news of Ethan's disappearance spread rapidly, reaching far beyond the confines of the mall. Despite the relentless efforts and the widespread mobilization, the couple's hearts remained heavy with the unbearable weight of their grief, their hope flickering in the dim light of an unending search. The mall, once a symbol of joy and togetherness, now stood as a stark reminder of the heartache that had consumed Sarah and Michael. Their once bright and hopeful day had transformed into an unthinkable ordeal, an emotional abyss that seemed impossible to escape. As the search continued, the couple's love for their child remained the only beacon of light in the encroaching darkness, fueling their unyielding determination to find Ethan and bring him home where he belonged. Despite their tireless efforts and the myriad resources they poured into the search, the days bled into weeks, and weeks stretched into agonizing months. with no trace of Ethan ever emerging. The ceaseless agony of uncertainty gnawed at Sarah and Michael, a relentless torment that devoured their every waking thought and moment. Their lives, once vibrant and full of promise, had become a bleak, unending nightmare. They found it nearly impossible to sleep, each night fraught with unsettling dreams and persistent worry. Meals went uneaten, their appetites lost to the constant, haunting fear of their son's unknown fate. Each passing day was a painful reminder of Ethan's absence, a never-ending torment filled with questions that had no answers. Was he safe? Was he frightened? Did he cry out for them, longing for the comforting embrace of his parents? Sarah, who had once been a pillar of confidence and determination, found herself teetering on the edge of emotional collapse. Her former strength, rooted in her accomplishments and her wealth, now felt hollow and inadequate in the face of the profound void left by Ethan's disappearance. Her riches, which had once brought her a sense of pride and accomplishment, now seemed utterly trivial compared to the yearning for just one more moment with her son. She would have given up everything she owned for a chance to hold Ethan in her arms again, to hear his laugh and see his smile. Michael, though equally shattered by the loss, endeavored to remain a steadfast source of strength for Sarah. He embraced her during her darkest moments, offering solace with his steady presence and wiping away her tears with a tenderness that spoke volumes of his love and commitment. He continuously encouraged her to hold on to hope, even when their situation seemed hopeless. They sought solace in the companionship of others who understood their pain, attending support groups for parents of missing children. In these gatherings, they found a semblance of comfort in sharing their story, their anguish, and in the collective strength of those who faced similar heartaches. Years drifted by, and the weight of Ethan's absence continued to hang heavily over their lives. Despite the relentless passage of time, the wound left by their son's disappearance never fully healed. It remained an open, raw gash in their hearts, perpetually bleeding with the ache of their unfulfilled longing. Sarah and Michael never allowed themselves to abandon hope. They clung to the belief that, against all odds, Ethan might one day return to them. Their relentless search continued, driven by the hope that somewhere, somehow, their missing child would find his way back home. Their love for Ethan remained a beacon of hope, illuminating their path through the darkness, sustaining their unwavering resolve to bring him back and to heal the profound sorrow that had become a part of their daily existence. As the years unfurled, the searing pain of their loss remained an unshakable shadow in Sarah and Michael's lives. Time, which often promises to heal, had done little to soothe the gaping wound left by Ethan's absence. Sarah, in her quest to escape the relentless ache of missing her son, buried herself in her work. She threw herself into her professional endeavors with a fervor that masked her profound sorrow, striving to fill the void that Ethan had left behind. Her days became a blur of meetings, deadlines, and projects, each moment an attempt to drown out the heartache that seemed ever present. Michael, on the other hand, valiantly tried to be the stronghold for Sarah, masking his devastation behind a facade of resilience. Yet, beneath the surface, he was equally fractured, his soul bearing the heavy weight of their shared grief. It felt as though a vital piece of them had been violently torn away, leaving a void that nothing, no amount of wealth, no achievement, no material possessions could ever hope to fill. The once vibrant and hopeful couple found themselves living in a constant state of emotional desolation, their immense fortune unable to alleviate the profound emptiness of their lives. On a dreary afternoon, as the overcast skies mirrored their internal gloom, Sarah and Michael were driving through the city streets in their opulent car. Their minds were occupied with the weight of their unspoken grief, lost in a sea of somber thoughts. It was during this reflective drive that they encountered Jason, a thin, ragged boy who was peddling flowers at a busy intersection. There was something in Jason's eyes, a deep, unsettling sadness and a raw innocence that struck a chord deep within Sarah. It was as if she saw a reflection of her pain mirrored in the boy's weary gaze. Compelled by a sudden surge of empathy and compassion, Sarah and Michael decided to engage with Jason. Their conversation revealed a story of profound struggle and hardship. Jason lived in dire circumstances, struggling to make ends meet as the sole provider for his ailing mother, Emily. Emily's illness left her unable to work, forcing Jason to take on the burden of supporting their family by selling flowers on the street. His every gesture, his every word, spoke of the deep love and responsibility he felt for his mother, as well as the crushing weight of their precarious existence. Moved by Jason's plight and the unmistakable echo of their suffering in his story, Sarah and Michael found themselves drawn to the boy's resilience and spirit. It was a poignant reminder of the suffering that exists beyond their pain, a reminder that the world was filled with stories of struggle and survival. In that moment, their encounter with Jason became a powerful, if bittersweet, reflection of their journey through loss and the universal quest for healing and hope. Despite their considerable wealth, Sarah and Michael felt an inexplicable and profound connection with Jason and Emily. The stark contrast between their opulent lifestyle and the modest circumstances of the struggling family only heightened their empathy. They saw in Jason and Emily a reflection of their heartache, the shared anguish of loss, and the relentless struggle to survive in the face of overwhelming adversity. Driven by an overwhelming sense of compassion and a desire to make a difference, Sarah and Michael resolved to extend their help in every possible way. Without a moment's hesitation, they embraced the opportunity to support Jason and Emily both financially and emotionally. They made it their mission to provide not just material aid but also genuine, heartfelt support. Over the following days, their bond with the small family grew stronger. Sarah and Michael made frequent visits to Jason and Emily's humble dwelling, each visit marked by acts of kindness that went beyond mere charity. They brought nourishing food, warm clothing, and crucial medicine, doing their best to ease the burdens the family faced. Sarah found herself drawn to Emily's fragile presence. She spent time sitting by Emily's side, holding her delicate hand and listening intently to the older woman's life stories. In those quiet, shared moments, Sarah found a semblance of solace, a way to connect with another soul who understood the depth of hardship. Meanwhile, Michael devoted his time to Jason, engaging the boy in playful activities that also had educational value. He taught Jason to read and write, offering him the attention and affection that the boy so desperately craved and deserved. The joy in Jason's eyes when he received a new book or the deep gratitude reflected in Emily's eyes as she received the medicine she needed were small but profound balms for Sarah and Michael's wounded hearts. These moments of connection and support provided a fleeting yet precious relief from the relentless pain that had been their constant companion since Ethan's disappearance. The simple pleasure of seeing Jason's smile or hearing Emily's words of thanks offered a temporary respite from the aching void that had permeated their lives. However, one afternoon, as Sarah was assisting Jason with a new shirt, a chilling discovery sent a shiver down her spine. As she helped him put on the garment, she noticed a scar on the boy's arm, an unmistakable mark that seemed eerily familiar. Her heart raced as she recognized the scar. It was identical to one that Ethan had carried since birth. The resemblance was uncanny, a small crescent-shaped spot that had been a distinct feature of their lost son. The revelation left Sarah breathless, her world momentarily suspended as the implications of the discovery began to sink in. She immediately called Michael, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and hope. Together, they examined the scar with mounting urgency. The match was undeniable. The mark on Jason's arm was the same as the one they had known so well on Ethan's. As the truth began to dawn on them, Sarah and Michael were confronted with a whirlwind of emotions, their lives once again standing on the precipice of profound change and revelation. A tidal wave of conflicting emotions surged through Sarah and Michael as they stood on the precipice of a revelation that could potentially alter their lives forever. The possibility that Jason might be their long-lost son, Ethan, whom they had mourned and searched for with relentless dedication over the past years, was both exhilarating and disorienting. The idea of finally holding their child again, after so many years of heartache and despair, was an overwhelming mixture of joy and fear. They were overcome with a desperate urge to sweep the boy into their arms, to shower him with affection, to cry tears of relief and boundless love. They imagined a reunion they had longed for. The missing piece of their family finally returned. Yet, alongside this profound sense of hope, a whirlwind of confusion and apprehension took hold. The enormity of the situation was almost too much to bear. How could this be happening? What series of events had unfolded over the years to bring them to this moment? Despite their considerable wealth and influence, Sarah and Michael were acutely aware that navigating this discovery required delicate handling. They feared that any misstep could shatter the fragile bond they had begun to build with Jason and Emily. They were deeply concerned about startling the boy or disrupting the tenuous stability they had worked hard to establish. With hearts pounding and minds racing, Sarah approached Jason with an overwhelming sense of urgency mixed with a profound need for tenderness. Her hands shook slightly, and her voice wavered as she gently inquired about the scar on his arm. She spoke with a softness that conveyed both her profound hope and her trepidation. Jason, with his wide, innocent eyes and an earnest demeanor, responded with an unassuming honesty. He revealed that the scar had been a part of him for as long as he could remember. He had no recollection of how he had come by it, only that it had always been a defining feature of his life. His simple, straightforward answer only deepened the mystery and the hope swirling within Sarah and Michael. The revelation was like a flicker of hope amid an emotional storm. Sarah and Michael exchanged a look, their eyes filled with a mixture of tears and tentative optimism. 1,000 questions and scenarios whirled in their minds, each one more daunting than the last. Could it truly be that after years of relentless searching, sleepless nights, and unending sorrow, they had finally found Ethan? The prospect was both thrilling and terrifying, a tantalizing glimmer of a dream that had seemed so distant and elusive. The first step would be to navigate the intricate web of legalities required to determine Jason's true identity. They would need to delve into Jason's past, meticulously piece together the events that had transpired since Ethan's disappearance, and confront the painful truth of what had happened that fateful day. Sarah and Michael's hearts were heavy with the weight of these impending tasks. They were acutely aware that every step forward required careful consideration and sensitivity. They needed to ensure that their actions did not cause harm or distress to Jason or Emily, who had become an integral part of their lives. The emotional strain was immense, as they faced the prospect of potentially reuniting with their son, while also grappling with the possibility of more unanswered questions and unresolved pain. Yet, amidst the overwhelming uncertainty, Sarah and Michael held on to a fragile thread of hope. The possibility of finding Ethan, of bringing their family back together, was a beacon of light in their prolonged darkness. As they prepared to face the formidable challenges ahead, they clung to the hope that this might be the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, one where the heartache of the past could be transformed into the joy of rediscovered love and family. The revelation Emily shared about how she found and adopted Jason struck Sarah and Michael with a powerful wave of emotions, one that left them grappling with a whirlwind of feelings. As they sat together in Emily's modest, yet warmly inviting living room, every word she spoke seemed to echo through the very core of their being. Their hearts raced, eyes brimming with tears, as they hung on to every detail of Emily's heart-wrenching account. The discovery of the crescent-shaped scar on Jason's arm, a mark that perfectly matched the one Ethan had since birth, had already left Sarah and Michael in a state of stunned disbelief. The scar had been a beacon of hope, yet it was also shrouded in fear and uncertainty. Now, as they listened to Emily's poignant story, the fragments of their shattered reality began to align in a way they had never dared to hope for. Emily's voice was thick with emotion as she recounted the fateful night when her life, and perhaps theirs, changed forever. The memory of that cold, rainy evening was vivid and haunting. She had been returning from a grueling shift at work when a faint, muffled cry pierced through the dreary night. Drawn by the sound, Emily's heart raced with a mix of concern and curiosity as she approached the dark alley from which the cry emanated. There, amid the shadows and the rain, she found a small, shivering bundle wrapped in a tattered blanket. As she pulled back the blanket, Emily was met with a sight that seemed to pierce through her very soul, the face of an innocent baby, with big, bright eyes that shone through the tears and the cold. It was a face that seemed to silently plead for love and safety, and in that moment, Emily felt an overwhelming surge of compassion. Unable to abandon the tiny, vulnerable being, Emily scooped him up, her heart swelling with an intense resolve to protect and care for him. She took him home, her actions driven by an instinctive, profound love. Over the days that followed, Emily did everything in her power to find the baby's biological parents, but her efforts were met with silence. It was as if the child had materialized out of thin air, with no traceable past or clues to guide her. With a heavy heart and a deep sense of responsibility, Emily decided to legally adopt the baby, naming him Jason, a name that means healer in Hebrew. She chose the name with a sense of profound significance, believing that the child had come into her life as a healing balm for her troubled past. Despite the financial hardships and personal struggles she faced, Emily poured every ounce of her love and dedication into raising Jason. Her home, though humble, was filled with warmth, care, and an unwavering commitment to provide a safe and nurturing environment for the boy she had come to cherish deeply. It painted a picture of a path that, despite its pain and separation, had ultimately brought them closer to the truth. The pieces of their long-sought puzzle seemed to fit together, yet the road ahead was still fraught with challenges. They knew they needed to navigate this new reality with care, compassion, and a relentless pursuit of the truth, all while holding on to the fragile hope that perhaps, just perhaps, their long-lost Ethan was finally coming home. As Emily recounted her poignant story, Sarah and Michael found themselves engulfed by a tidal wave of emotions and coincidences that seemed almost too surreal to grasp. Their hearts were overwhelmed with a maelstrom of hope, disbelief, and cautious optimism. Could it truly be that their precious son, whom they had mourned and searched for over the years, had been lovingly cared for by another family? The gravity of the situation was immense, and they took a deep breath, trying to steady their racing thoughts and turbulent feelings. With genuine gratitude and profound respect, they thanked Emily for the kindness and unwavering love she had bestowed upon Jason. The families, united by this extraordinary revelation, made the crucial decision to collaborate in a quest for the truth. They engaged legal experts and harnessed their collective resources to embark on a meticulous investigation. The process was both painstaking and emotionally taxing, as each step forward was accompanied by a cascade of mixed emotions, hope intertwined with anxiety, anticipation laced with uncertainty. Yet Sarah and Michael clung tenaciously to the glimmer of hope that their long-lost son might finally be within their reach. As weeks of intense investigation unfolded, the emotional stakes were higher than ever. The arduous journey culminated in a moment of profound revelation. The DNA tests confirmed beyond any doubt that Jason was indeed Ethan, their beloved son who had been missing for so many years. The confirmation was like a thunderclap of joy and disbelief. When the results were announced, Sarah and Michael were engulfed in a wave of unrestrained tears, their faces awash with a mixture of joy and relief. They embraced Ethan with an intensity that spoke volumes of their years of yearning and heartache, savoring the moment they had dreamed of, but feared was forever out of reach. The reunion marked the beginning of a new chapter, one brimming with hope and the promise of healing. Ethan was lovingly reintroduced into his biological family's embrace, and Sarah and Michael, driven by a relentless commitment to their son, dedicated themselves to integrating him back into their lives. The road to rebuilding their family was fraught with challenges, adjustments, healing wounds, and the delicate process of reconciling past pain with a hopeful future. However, the unbreakable bond forged through years of longing and the unwavering love from both families created a foundation for a future filled with promise and togetherness. The journey was far from easy, but the resilience, compassion, and collective strength of Sarah, Michael, Emily, and Jason now truly Ethan carved a path toward a future where the wounds of the past could begin to heal, and the embrace of family could once again offer solace and joy. The significance of that moment was both profound and deeply transformative. As Ethan, formerly Jason, returned to Sarah and Michael's embrace, an inexplicable connection seemed to spark instantly between them. It was as if, within the depths of his being, Ethan had always known that he belonged with these people who had suddenly re-entered his life. The emotional bond was immediate and palpable, transcending the years of separation and loss. The embrace was not just a reunion, but a profound affirmation of a long-sought belonging, a confirmation of a truth that Ethan had never fully understood, but had always felt. Emily, standing on the periphery of this poignant scene, experienced a whirlwind of emotions. Her heart swelled with happiness as she watched Ethan reunite with his biological parents. It was a moment of pure joy to see the child she had cherished and nurtured find his rightful place in the world, to have the chance at a life filled with love, stability, and opportunity alongside Sarah and Michael. Yet, mingled with this joy was a deep, aching sadness. Emily felt a profound sense of loss as she came to terms with the reality that she would have to let go of the boy who had become the center of her universe, the reason for her perseverance and hope. The realization that she would no longer be the one to guide and protect him was a heavy burden, casting a shadow over the happiness of the moment. Despite the heartache, Emily understood the true essence of love, that it transcends boundaries and overcomes obstacles. She recognized that fate had orchestrated this remarkable reunion, bringing Ethan back to the loving embrace of his biological parents. Emily felt a deep sense of gratitude for having been a part of Ethan's journey and for having been the loving mother he needed during those crucial years. Her role had been to provide him with the care and affection he required, and now she took solace in knowing that her efforts had led to this joyous outcome. In the warmth of Emily's modest living room, amidst a flurry of tears and heartfelt embraces, a new familial bond was forged. Sarah, Michael, Ethan, and Emily became intertwined in a tapestry of love and gratitude, their lives forever altered by this extraordinary turn of events. The room, once filled with the echoes of separation and longing, now resonated with the harmonious sounds of reunion and unity. The four of them were united by their shared experiences and the deep emotional connections that had emerged through their journey. As they gathered together, the future loomed with both promise and uncertainty. There were still many questions to address and challenges to navigate, but at that moment, the overwhelming joy of being together again eclipsed all concerns. They were ready to embrace the new chapter of their lives with hope and resilience, fortified by the love that had brought them together. The journey had been fraught with trials and heartache, but it had also paved the way for a new beginning, one filled with the boundless possibilities of a family reunited. Sarah and Michael, their hearts racing and hands trembling with a mix of hope and trepidation, initiated an exhaustive investigation with the police to uncover the full story behind their son Ethan's disappearance and his potential connection to Jason, the boy Emily had lovingly rescued and raised. Their minds were plagued with harrowing questions, the most agonizing being why anyone would commit such an atrocity, kidnapping their precious baby and then abandoning him as if he were nothing more than a discarded object. The thought of someone possessing the heartless cruelty to inflict such suffering upon a helpless infant was beyond their comprehension, and their thirst for justice only intensified with every passing day. As the investigation unfolded, Sarah and Michael decided to take the crucial step of performing a DNA test to definitively establish whether Jason was indeed their long-lost son. The anticipation was excruciating. Each second of waiting felt like an eternity, as if time itself had slowed down to taunt them. Sleep eluded them, and every waking moment was consumed by anxiety and hope, a relentless cycle of torment and anticipation. When the fateful day finally arrived, and the DNA test results were ready to be revealed, Sarah and Michael felt as though the world had momentarily ceased to exist around them. With bated breath and tears clouding their vision, they opened the envelope containing the results. The report confirmed what their hearts had already whispered. Jason was indeed Ethan, their beloved son who had been cruelly torn from their lives years ago. The revelation struck them like a tidal wave of overwhelming emotion. They were flooded with a profound mixture of joy, relief, and gratitude so deep it was nearly unbearable. The void that had been carved into their lives since Ethan's disappearance was slowly beginning to be filled by Jason's presence. Amid their emotional whirlwind, Sarah and Michael were overwhelmed with gratitude toward Emily. This extraordinary woman had unimaginably stepped into their lives, rescuing their son from the brink of despair and providing him with a loving, stable home. Emily's role had been pivotal. She had given Jason not just shelter but a nurturing environment, a beacon of hope during a time of darkness. Sarah and Michael knew that without Emily's intervention, Jason's fate could have been profoundly different, possibly dire. As they absorbed the gravity of the situation, Sarah and Michael's gratitude toward Emily was boundless. They understood the sacrifices Emily had made, the love she had poured into raising Jason, and the crucial role she played in his life. In the warmth of their reunion, there was a shared sense of respect and appreciation between the families, a bond forged through the trials and triumphs of their journey. This moment was not just about finding their son, it was about acknowledging and honoring the incredible kindness that had helped shape his life. The reunion was a testament to the power of love and resilience. Sarah and Michael's hearts, once shattered by loss, were now filled with the promise of healing and new beginnings. The road ahead would be complex, with many emotional and practical challenges to navigate, but the profound sense of reunion and the connection with Emily offered a glimmer of hope and a foundation for a future where their family could begin to heal and rebuild together. Sarah and Michael, their hearts brimming with overwhelming emotion, approached Jason and enveloped him in a tight, heartfelt embrace. Tears of unrestrained joy and profound relief streamed down their faces, soaking the boy's shirt as they held him close. The moment was an outpouring of years of anguish and longing, and they whispered words of love, gratitude, and devotion to their long-lost son, thanking every divine force they believed had guided this miraculous reunion. As the initial wave of emotion settled, Sarah and Michael made an unexpected and heartfelt proposal to Emily. They invited her to move into their mansion, suggesting they raise Jason together as one united, loving family. The idea was born from a deep appreciation for Emily's role in Jason's life. They felt it was essential to have her close, to honor the unconditional love and sacrifice she had shown in raising their son. The prospect of sharing Jason's upbringing with the woman who had nurtured him through the formative years seemed not just right but necessary. Emily, taken aback by the proposal, was initially overwhelmed. The thought of leaving her modest life behind, exchanging it for the opulence and comfort of a mansion, was a concept so foreign to her that it felt almost surreal. She was a woman accustomed to a life of struggle, raising Jason with limited means and enduring countless hardships. Yet, as she gazed into Sarah and Michael's eyes, she saw a sincerity and depth of feeling that transcended mere words. It was clear to her that their offer came from a place of genuine respect and heartfelt gratitude, not from obligation or pity. With tears welling in her eyes and her heart filled with mixed emotions, Emily accepted the proposal. She understood that this move was not just about her but, more importantly, about Jason. The opportunity for him to grow up in a stable, loving environment with both his biological parents and the woman who had cared for him so deeply was invaluable. The chance for him to experience a unified family dynamic was a gift she could not deny him. The transition to the mansion began with a flurry of activity and excitement. Sarah and Michael went to great lengths to ensure that Emily felt welcomed and valued in their home. They prepared a special room for her, decorating it with care and attention to detail, creating a space that was both comfortable and reflective of their deep appreciation for her role in their lives. Every detail was thoughtfully considered, from the color of the walls to the selection of furniture, all aimed at making Emily feel at home. As Emily settled into her new surroundings, the dynamics of the household began to shift. There was a new sense of unity and shared purpose as the families navigated this new chapter together. The mansion, once a symbol of opulence and isolation, became a place of healing and togetherness. The presence of Emily, with her warmth and love, brought a new layer of depth to the family's life, enriching their experiences and reinforcing the bonds between them. Sarah and Michael's gesture of bringing Emily into their home was more than just a practical decision. It was a profound statement of their commitment to honoring the past and building a future together. It symbolized their acknowledgement of the shared journey and their desire to create a nurturing environment where all members of their blended family could thrive. The mansion, now a home filled with love, laughter, and new beginnings, stood as a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of love and unity. Jason was elated by the news of Emily moving into the mansion with Sarah and Michael. The prospect of having Emily around, along with the joy of being reunited with his biological parents, felt like a dream come true. Jason's excitement knew no bounds as he imagined showing Emily every corner of their new home, exploring the expansive gardens together, and sharing countless special moments with his newly expanded family. His heart was full of anticipation and happiness, ready to embrace the new chapter of his life. As the days unfolded, a new rhythm emerged in the mansion, filled with love and collaboration. Sarah, Michael, Emily, and Jason began to establish a routine that fostered deeper connections and enriched their lives. They enjoyed breakfast together each morning, filling their conversations with laughter, stories, and the simple joy of being together. These moments of togetherness strengthened their bonds, creating a family dynamic built on mutual respect, affection, and shared experiences. Sarah and Michael made a concerted effort to include Emily in all important decisions, valuing her insights and acknowledging her indispensable role in Jason's life. Sarah, with her wealth and generosity, ensured that Emily had everything she needed to feel comfortable and fulfilled. From clothing and accessories to opportunities for personal growth and education, Sarah's support was a testament to her appreciation for Emily's sacrifices and love. She saw Emily as a remarkable woman with a heart full of compassion, and she was determined to reciprocate the kindness that had been shown to Jason. The mansion, which had once echoed with absence and sadness, gradually transformed into a place of vibrant life and joy. Laughter and play replaced the silence that had lingered for years. Jason thrived in this nurturing environment, flourishing under the care of his 3 parental figures. He learned valuable lessons in gratitude, empathy, and the importance of family, growing up with a profound sense of love and belonging. Emily, for her part, felt a deep sense of gratitude and fulfillment. After enduring numerous hardships throughout her life, she found solace and purpose in her new role within the family. Looking at Sarah, Michael, and Jason, Emily knew that all her struggles had led her to this moment of happiness. She was determined to give back all the love and support she had received, cherishing every moment in her new home and appreciating the chance to be part of such a special family. Jason's life was now marked by happiness and health, surrounded by people who loved him unconditionally. He was allowed to explore his talents, learn about his heritage, and dream of a bright future. The transformation in his life was made possible by the incredible generosity, love, and bravery of Sarah, Michael, and Emily. As we wrap up this touching story of reunion and hope, we're reminded of the incredible power of love, generosity, and second chances. Sarah, Michael, and Emily's journey illustrates how profound connections can heal deep wounds and transform lives in the most unexpected ways. Their story is a testament to the impact of kindness and the beauty of coming together as a family, no matter how the path to reunion may unfold. So what have you learned from this heartwarming narrative? How has the story of Sarah, Michael, and Emily touched you, and what lessons can you take from it into your own life? We'd love to hear from you. Share one key takeaway or insight you gained from this video and how you plan to apply it in your life in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comments, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated with our latest content. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you more stories and insights in our upcoming videos.